Hello, everybody. This is Greg Ryder, and thanks for taking time out of your day to listen to this interview. I'm really super excited about what we're going to talk about today and what's happening here, because you know what? I've had a couple tough years, and I'm a coach, I'm a mentor, and in some realms, people think I'm a guru, but I think of myself a little bit more humbly than that. And I want to first stress that for you taking time out of your day to watch this interview, my goal is, and my promise is that it's worth your time, that we're going to inspire you and motivate you, and we're going to share some stuff with you that we think can be life-changing and life-altering as it relates to goal setting and getting the things you want in life. And I also want everyone to know that as a guy that's a very high-level executive, and you know, my companies that I own and operate, there's always the room to grow. We all need coaches. We all need motivation. We all need the tools, the systems, the things to be successful and grow. And I'm very fortunate to have on this interview with me today Gary Ryan Blair, who has got an incredible program that I'm going to have my whole entire staff go through at the beginning of next year. And I got so excited about it, I wanted to share with every single person on my database. So this video is being emailed to over 270,000 people to watch this video, because that's how much I believe in what Gary Ryan Blair is doing. So before we get Gary in here real quick, let me just share a little bit about Gary's background and what he's done. And the idea that we're not trying to brag, but it's really about, we want you to know that this is stuff that's not, that it's real stuff, right? So he's helped over 5 million people. That's a lot of people around the globe to achieve their goals faster and easier than ever thought possible. And this whole idea of setting goals and achieving goals is a huge, huge issue. And my son has been fighting with some stuff, so my son's going to go through the program as well. But today he's going to talk to us on how to get this done, how to accelerate the pace, how to get things going, how to have monumental performance in everything we do to become unstoppable in achieving our dreams and our goals. He's also an author of the #1 best-selling book, 52 Remarkable Ways to Inspire Excellence and Drive Results. And it's been extremely successful, like I said, a #1 selling book. And then what we're going to talk about specifically today is the 100-day challenge. So, Gary, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy day to share your wisdom, your insight, your motivation with our database and our listeners and our customers and our clients.
Great. Thanks for having me. I've been looking forward to this for a while.
Very, very cool. So let's just get started here. We're coming to the end of the year. Everyone's New Year's resolutions are coming up. And I said yesterday, there's something about that date of a new year. It was like, yeah, I'm so ready for 2012. I'm so ready to have a new thing. For the first time in my life, Gary, I'm really serious about losing weight. I'm down from 214 pounds to 196 in the last 35, 40 days. And I want to make some changes in my life. And that's why you are coming into my life at the perfect time. And let's talk real quick. I want to ask you a question about this book. What's up with this book, and why did you name a book, Everything Counts? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I think in any situation you always need some type of a spark that gets you excited to do something. In my case, I think we need a renaissance in this country, and quite frankly, I think we need it worldwide, a renaissance of excellence. And one of the things you see, or at least the book series that was popular for many years, is called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff.
Yep.
And it's a great concept for little stuff, if you will, from the standpoint of getting bad service at a restaurant, don't sweat it. But the fact of the matter is, you could never go to anybody, and I'm talking, let's say, a Lance Armstrong, a Michelangelo, a Martha Stewart, anybody who you really consider to be excellent at the top of their profession, and say, don't sweat the small stuff. They know that really what got them to the top and allows them to stay there is the refinement of all the small details. And that's really what I wanted to draw people's attention to.
I love that. One of my favorite sayings I say all the time, almost every day, small things done consistently over long periods of time guarantee results. So I guess that fits right in line with that.
Indeed they do, my friend.
Okay, so let's talk about the 100-day challenge and what that's all about, and what was the genesis for creating the 100-day challenge?
The genesis actually was pretty simple. I was inspired by just rapid performance challenges, if you will, a rapid performance change in people's lives. and constantly sparked, or should we say, asking my questions to my clients, what could you do in a short period of time if you were 100% focused, if you had iron discipline, if you enforced proper disciplines, if you will, for a short period of time? You think you'd be more successful? You think you'd get more done? You think you'd be able to drive more profits to your business? And to prove points, or if you will, to provide some evidence, there's a show on ABC called Extreme Home Makeover. And over the course of 7 days, this is fantastic. What they do is they actually tear down and rebuild a beautiful home, upwards of 4,000 square feet in 7 days. I mean, if you were to tell people a year or 5 years ago or 20 years ago, can you build a house in 7 days? They'd say you're absolutely crazy. But we know it can be done. Then, if you turn on most of your infomercials at night, you're going to see P90X. It's impossible to get away from this thing.
Right.
But it's a great example of what you would call an extreme performance workout. That people have radical transformational change in their bodies, if you will, in a very short period of time. So my thinking was, if I put together a system that showed people exactly the right way to go about setting, but most importantly, achieving a goal on a day-to-day basis, could they make some dramatic changes in their life? And the fact of the matter is, we're going to talk about some of those examples. But I've had some stories of people that have done some astonishing things in a short period of time.
Well, a lot of people are like, how do you get over the skepticism? Oh, I've heard that before, and it's just another one of those things. And, how do you deal with that? We've all tried this, and, it's like the beginning of the year coming up. Everyone wants to lose weight. Everyone has these goals. How do you deal with that skepticism from my mindset?
Yeah, no, listen, I absolutely understand it. And the last thing I'm going to do is kind of fight somebody's skepticism other than say this. If you're going to challenge something, truly challenge your own beliefs. That one of the biggest things that we have, if you will, the barriers to change, are the mental roadblocks that we put up. And if we automatically have natural resistance in our own mind, the fact of the matter is nothing that we speak about today is really going to be transferred into someone's belief system. So what you have to do is you've got to be willing and open to the idea that you can do more, that you can do dramatically more, if you were given and shown the right principles. Now, as an example, for years, we've known about The Secret, the movie The Secret, and all the books and everything that's come along with that. Let me talk about the law of attraction. The fact of the matter is that there's something that is, in my belief, that is so much more important to that, and I call it the law of exposure. And what I mean by that is most people they're a demonstration really of what they're exposed to. Some people are going to be exposed to good behavior, some bad behavior, etiquette, bad etiquette. Some people are going to be exposed to art. Some people are going to be exposed to, unfortunately, derogatory behavior and language. So my feeling very simply is this, is that most people have never been exposed to best practices. They have never had it demonstrated. They've never given example after example after example that this is how, this is why, this is what you do and when you do it, and show them what a systematic way to go about getting results on a day-to-day basis. And once they learn it and understand that there is a system that they need to go through, they'll make extraordinary performance gains.
I gotta tell you, I just love that. Literally the hair is standing up on my arm because that's what this video is about, and that's what me emailing to the database is about, is giving somebody a little taste, a little exposure to this with the idea that something in them clicks that says, yeah, I need to learn, I need to grow, I need a coach, I need a mentor, I want to change, I want to have a better life, I want to be more fulfilled, I want to have more energy. And it's if they're not exposed to how to do it, the ways to do it, the technique, so we're helping people succeed by this video. So keep watching. It's going to get better. So I just love that. Tell me this. What is the biggest problem you think people have by setting their goals and what you can do to help them?
It's very simple. There's a show on TV called A&E, and we know it as arts and entertainment. But in my language, the way I look at it, really the biggest challenge is accountability and execution. And I always tell people, I basically kind of set it up and said, consider the implications of a very simple idea. What if I were to follow you around with a camera crew 24 hours a day, 7 days a week while you went about your daily behavior? And I say, what do you think would happen? Do you think it's possible that you would get more done because you would be potentially maybe shamed, maybe embarrassed of some of the behaviors and the patterns and the habits that you demonstrate? do you think if you took it seriously that you would make some dramatic performance gains? And I do think that's exactly what would happen if people had, and the reason for that is people now have somebody showing them, or should we say, enforcing accountability. That's what that camera crew essentially represents, metaphorically speaking. Well, realizing this, what I did was built into this program was 7 different layers of accountability to show people chapter and verse exactly what they need to do on a day-to-day basis to get it done. So, and this is the good part. I think it's a great question that you asked me, because I think in order for us to make gains, the best thing for us to do is identify the choke point, the constraint. And the biggest constraint, no matter where people are all over the world that are doing this for so many years now, really comes down to accountability and execution. And there are multiple of solutions to get around that.
No, that accountability is a huge one. And I got to tell you a quick little side note. You get distracted here, but with this whole idea of losing weight, I have a picture of me in 2001 that we recently found. Where I was getting ready to lose weight. And now here it is 2011, and I finally got motivated because one of my business partners did a video and he said, hey, take the 90-day challenge, let's go. And I thought to myself, what's keeping me? What's keeping me? And I thought it was accountability. And I thought to myself, well, my dad raised me that your word is your bond, and if you say you're going to do something, you do it. And it's like, but to yourself, it doesn't quite work as easy as that, right? So I made a video of me saying, I'm going to lose weight, I'm taking this 90-day challenge, I'm going down to 185, and I put on the internet as a way that I put out there to the world. That was kind of my way to hold myself accountable, going, if I tell the world I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, because I don't want anyone to be thinking Greg's a, balonian. So that was kind of what I did for accountability with that one thing.
Essentially, what you did was you put yourself in a position where you had to perform.
Right.
Built into the challenge. Let's go with that for just a moment, because I think it's a brilliant example, and I appreciate you sharing it. To deal with the issue of accountability, one of the things I built in, what people see every day reinforced, is what's called the integrity pledge. The integrity pledge essentially has 3 different components to it. It's very simple, but it's profoundly important. Number 1, if you make a commitment, you honor it. Number 2, if you make a promise, you keep it. And then number 3, if you set a goal, you achieve it. I believe in order for people to wrap their minds around this, what they have to do is understand this, that life requires 2 lists. It requires a yes list and it requires a no list. The yes list needs to be very short. The no list needs to be very long. And what you have to do is you've got to decide exactly what goes on that yes list. And I believe that if people make fewer commitments, but ones that they're absolutely going to fulfill and honor, they're going to do much better if they made fewer promises and if they set fewer goals. And then they obviously sat back and said, you know what? These are the non-negotiable guidelines with which I'm going to operate for the next 100 days. They'll astonish themselves at what they're going to be able to achieve.
Wow. That's just filled with wisdom and significance. You're talking to me, man. I got to say no more.
Very cool.
Beautiful. So what strategies work best for getting results, and the philosophies that go along with those?
There's a few ways of looking at this, but if we don't mind, let's just toss in a little bit of technology and verbiage for just a moment. What I get people to understand is that everybody is what I call the conversion business. Or should we say they're one of 2 businesses. They're either in the conversion business or they're in the perpetuation business. So for you, in your case, from year 2001 or 2002, when you set that goal in order to lose weight, until just now, 10 years later, you were in the perpetuation business. You just perpetuated being overweight or in a situation that you really weren't happy with for almost a decade, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Well, bottom line, people need to understand, and the overriding philosophy I'm going to get to is the importance of speed. But here's the deal. Is that you have to look at it and you say to yourself, okay, life essentially is a process of conversion or perpetuation. What we want to do is we want to solve, or should we say, we want to turn problems into solutions, we want to do it fast. We want to turn fat into muscle fast. We want to turn debt into wealth fast. We want to turn any situation that exists in your life that you are not happy with, war, you want to turn it into peace. But then as you start to look at business and a whole host of things, there are a lot of people who are interested in the principles of perpetuation. Companies, the government in some cases, want to perpetuate war because there's certain economic benefits associated with that, unfortunately. But more importantly, as it relates towards body and towards our everything else, is what we need to understand is the importance of speed and using it as a competitive advantage, and realizing that if there is a certain situation in our life that exists right now, Until and unless we embrace the importance of speed, taking action, enforcing accountability, and doing the proper disciplines on a day-to-day basis, we will never be able to convert to a new outcome, to a new reality. So that's a very important thing for people to embrace.
No, that's strong. And again, everybody can be fine-tuned. Everybody can benefit from this kind of stuff and learn. So what's the easiest way for people to start setting goals from your perspective? Being you're the goal king and you're teaching people stuff, what's the easiest way for them to start setting them? And those, especially for those that haven't been successful.
You got it. I want to answer the question a couple of ways, but here's where we're going to start with this. I have a process I teach called goal harvesting, and I want everybody to look at themselves as a farmer. And from a farmer standpoint, a farmer plants seeds, harvests them. There's a certain season for sowing and a certain season for reaping. More importantly, what we want to do is realize is that one of the ways that we harvest goals is that we have to create a category called unfinished business. There's books that people have started, meaning that they started reading and haven't finished. There's photo albums that people have been collecting photos or taking or whatever the case might be, and they're sitting right next to the photo albums that they haven't put away for 5 years. Some people have moved into a house 3 years ago, they still are not unpacked. Some people have worked on a degree and they've never brought it to closure. And these things nag at them, gnaw at them, and they create and perpetuate, if you will, again, they perpetuate a sense of incompetence and incompleteness. So my advice, the first smartest and best thing for you to do is to focus and set a goal on creating closure, is take all your unfinished business, the stuff that you already have an intimate relationship with, stuff that you've already started, stuff that you already have an emotional connection to, and close those things rapidly. By doing that, you will immediately create a sense of momentum that will catapult you towards the next bigger opportunities in life. And Greg, the reason why you want to do this is that no matter what you achieve in life from this moment forward, if you don't take care of that unfinished business, that extra heavy baggage that you're carrying around with you, you're always going to have that sense of incompleteness, of displeasure in certain behaviors that you've demonstrated in the past. We want to get rid of those things as quickly as possible.
Wow, that's awesome. No, I'm just taking this so personal. I hope everyone else is listening. I'm taking a few notes here. So I hope everyone else is taking some notes and thinking this stuff through and thinking about how it can really help you and your family members, your kids. And then we're talking about the Integrity Pledge, and Gary's really supportive of what we're doing to protect and educate kids. And we're going to be announcing sometime first quarter next year a whole Integrity Pledge and stuff. And I'm going to be helping Gary promote his stuff for kids as well. So we want to instill these philosophies, these principles, these strategies, these systems with kids too, so they can be responsible. So let's see, take me through a process of actually setting a goal and then getting into that massive action plan and what are those steps? Like, break it down for us.
You got it. Make it real simple. Most people are going to be watching this probably at home, I would imagine. So what I'd like you to do is go into the kitchen. I'm going to give everybody the best metaphor you'll ever have in your life. It's simple, it's pragmatic, and it works. So if you open up a cookbook, there's 5 things that you want to pay attention to. The first thing that's going to happen is you're going to see a beautiful 4-colored picture. Now, if you sit back and ask yourself, what does that picture represent? I'm talking about opening up to page 27, 28, or 42. It doesn't matter whether it's a cupcake, a roast beef, or a chiffon. Bottom line is you're going to see a picture which is a physical representation of the end result. This is what every great interior designer has. This is what every great painter has. This is what every great performer has. This is what every great leader has. They are able to see the future in advance. What a cookbook does, it's a perfect metaphor because it gives you that visual. And this is why when you go to a restaurant or you go to a movie or you see stuff on the website, there's visual eye candy because it gives you a snapshot of what the future is going to look like 3 days, 3 months, or 3 years from now, depending on what the goal is. So that's point number 1. Number 2, if you take the time to look and analyze all of it, maybe just bundle 2, 3, 4, and 5 together here, you're going to notice that the ingredients inside that cookbook are specific. They will tell you exactly what you need: eggs, milk, butter, and cheese. They won't tell you just go in and grab some stuff. They'll be very precise as to what you need. The same thing is true as it relates to your goals. You can't be ambiguous and just start running off half-cocked. What you've got to do is you've got to decide in advance exactly what you want. In the same way, if you look at it truly this way, is that when we dial a phone number, We have to dial 7, maybe 10 specific numbers in order to effectuate an outcome. And we have to look at it from a standpoint of odds. So if we respect that system, if you will, the same way we go onto our computer, we've got to type in a specific passcode. We go to an ATM, we've got to type in a specific, PIN number. If we do that, we get an outcome 100% of the time that is positive. If we don't, it's negative, meaning we don't get our money out. There's no gray matter, so specificity is key. The next, number 3, there is a sequence to the activities. So when they give you the specific instructions, they won't just tell you to, break it all, throw it all in a pot together, and cook it all at one time. They'll tell you to mix the eggs first, to build the batter first, to do this, do that, and so on and so forth. As an example, just to dramatize this, maybe a little bit silly, but I think it really is going to get the point home. Let's say that you are making a souffle, and there's 12 steps. And step number 3 happens to be you need 6 eggs. Well, you don't have 6 eggs right now, so you just continue on with the entire recipe. You cook it for 350 for 45 minutes. You take it out, let it cool for 15 minutes before serving it to your family. Then you crack the 6 eggs and throw it on top of the souffle. I think we have a problem here, right?
Yeah.
And this is what happens with most people. Many people don't realize that there's a sequence to everything. There's a sequence to a meringue. There's a sequence going back to that phone number. There's a sequence to that ATM, and there's a sequence to that anything that you do. You've got to learn the steps, and you've got to do things in a precise order. In the same way that you do anything, that you make a sales call or what have you. Now, the other thing is just to reinforce. Inside the cookbook, when you look at those specific ingredients, there'll be measurements associated with them. And I think this is great. They'll tell you 2 eggs. They'll tell you a pound of butter or a tablespoon. They'll tell you 2 ounces of vanilla, whatever the case might be. Well, in life, everything is measured. The scale measures weight. The cop's going to pull you over and measure your speed. If you wind up going to the doctor, they're going to use a stethoscope. It's going to measure your heartbeat. We're surrounded by measurement systems. Measurement systems really provide us with what we basically call a performance indicator. It takes 2 things into consideration, performance and time. And it lets us know how we are doing, how well we're performing in a limited period of time. Measurements are critical. And the last, Greg, this is the one that really helps and drives accountability. And that is there's a deadline. As it relates to that cookbook, there's time and temperature. So in this case, every single goal that you set, you need to have a specific deadline of play. Excuse me. And what I'm getting at here is, when it comes to your hopes, your dreams, and goals and desires, everyone's got to understand this, that no one has an emotional or vested interest in it. And if you don't take the time to set a goal and say, by this date, I'm going to be at this weight, I'm going to have X number of dollars invested, I'm going to have a certain amount of money paid off, I'm going to retire at 45 with a $5 million net worth, whatever the case might be, until and unless you take those deadlines seriously, because those are the lines in the sands that force you to perform within that time frame. If not, it'll never happen. And to prove this point, probably last thing I'll summarize, is that if you look at your credit card bills, you look at your mortgage statement, you look at any bill that you have, your student loans, each one of them come with a deadline that you need to perform by and a consequence. So what happens in most people's lives is people talk very vague and ambiguous about their goals. They don't put measurement systems in place. They don't hold themselves accountable. They do a poor job of execution. And ultimately, because they don't set a deadline, they don't take it very seriously, they're going to basically set resolutions this year to lose 10 pounds, and it's the same 10 pounds they've been trying to lose for the past 10 years, the past 15 years, and so forth. And there's got to come a point in time where they stop doing that.
Sure, you can make me the brunt of the story. That's okay. That's all right.
No, brother, I'm sorry about that.
No, it's a fact. You know what? And I'm listening and I'm taking my notes and I'm thinking of the editor of Success Magazine. He wrote that book, The Compound Effect, because you're describing little things, right? You got the specificity, you got the sequence, you got the performance and the time, the deadline and the consequence, and all those by themselves, amongst themselves, are little things, small things. The sweat the small stuff. But then put together, there's a compound effect that just compounds results, right? So I just love it. And I'm trying to remember his name. It's just blanked my mind.
Darren Hardy.
Darren Hardy wrote a great book called The Compound Effect. I love that book.
You know what you're talking about, though, which is really true, is that, before we use the word systems a little bit, And if you take the time to think about it, what a system is, it's a process, it's a procedure for getting a consistently successful outcome. Now, inside your body, you have a central nervous system. You have a reticular activating system in your brain. You have a skeletal system. You have all of these central nervous system, all of these different things. They are designed to provide you with a consistently successful outcome. We need a goal-setting system. We need a system that shows us the what, why, and how associated with getting results to go from where we are to where we want to be. And that's ultimately what we're talking about here is we've been able to systemize this entire process and show people, do this. This will get you the result you're looking for, but you've got to do it. That's the most important thing. Because, if you think about it, when people buy a McDonald's or Burger King or Wendy's, we'll just draw that in as an illustration, ultimately, they're paying a tremendous amount of money for a recipe, for a cookbook, for a system. And they're told, don't monkey with the system. The system's been tested, it's been proven, it's been validated, we've got results from it across the world, just run the bloody thing and it works. And that's the point I'm getting at here with the 100-day challenge. I have been able to show, and I've got numbers of people who've been able to pay off their mortgages in 100 days, to lose 65 pounds in 100 days, to be able to write an entire manuscript and get it picked up by a publishing house within 100 days. Chapter after verse in terms of if people follow the system, they'll be amazed at what they can do.
No, that's fantastic. And that's what got me so excited about what's going on here, because it's really about giving people the tools. And why would we want to try to go out there and do it on our own when here you've dedicated most of your life to helping people set goals? And boy, you must have one of the most rewarding lifestyles that you get, because you're always getting those testimonies of people how they're changing their lives by working with your goal program. And I remember when I first met you with the goals guy, and you're sitting there just going, wow, 5 million people that you've helped, and now we have this 100-day challenge, and it's like you're challenging us to take the challenge. So tell us about, let's say I want to join, I want to do your 100-day challenge. How do people do it? How is it delivered? How do you do it? You come to my house every day? What's going on?
No, it's very cool. It's actually all delivered over the internet. And here's what I did. I sat back, went in the studio, and I invested well over $2 million of my own money in production value and everything else. So what you have is the first day of the orientation, you're going to complete what's called a massive action plan. This is the brain trust of the program. Essentially these are the 3 to 5 goals that you're committed to achieve in the next 100 days. You're going to work on the development of a plan. I'm going to walk you through the entire process. I'll educate you on what it takes in order to create a quantum leap to make huge performance gains. So that happens at the very beginning on day 1. You learn the right way to go about doing things. Then, each and every day, there's a thematic approach to the program, and that is start fast, finish strong. And what I want you to do is I want you to dedicate the first 10 to 15 minutes each day. Just come along with me, log into the system, and let me coach you and let me set up the day appropriately. And here's why. There's a commercial that's been around for years. You've probably heard it about the Army, and they say we get more done by 6 a.m. than most people do all day.
Yep.
This is what you call starting fast. It is a philosophical approach in order to getting results. All high achievers, I don't care where it is that you go and look at. And I know there's some morning people and afternoon people and everything else. Even if you're an afternoon, bottom line is what you've got to do is you've got to start your day as early as possible, working, developing a system, identifying exactly what's going to get done. Prioritize all of those things. Make sure you've got the entire plan in place and begin your execution as quickly as possible. So what I want people to do is to get off to an extremely fast start. And the way that you do that is you start basically focusing on a whole host of small activities first. And the reason for that, you want to build momentum as quickly in your day as possible so that that momentum carries you throughout. And then the end part of the day, fundamentally, this is the finish strong component. I want you to finish the day strong. I want you to finish it with an exclamation mark. Finish it with some type of closure, with a success, with an outcome, and track it throughout the day. And that's really a large part of what the program's about.
You know what? I remember looking at your stuff and thinking, I got to do this. And I procrastinated, and I'm like, man, I want to do this. And there's something that you said to me that finally I said, okay, I'm doing it. And that was how much time I have to spend each day. Because the bottom line, with most of us, we don't feel we have time. And a lot of us, we don't have time, right? And you just kind of alluded to it right there, but I want you to expand on how much time does one need to commit every day to follow through on your 100-day challenge in your system?
You got it. Again, it's a 10 to 15 minute commitment. And to be clear, this is the thing that's really most important. You're going to be eating foods each day. You're going to be making decisions each day. You're going to be having meetings each day. Your day fundamentally is not going to change. I mean, the fact of the matter is most of our lives are 98% habitual in terms of what we do on a day-to-day basis. I'm just going to show you how to do things better. How do you do things faster? How do you do things more efficiently? Importantly, how do you do them faster? And by doing that, what winds up happening is you get a tremendous amount more done in a short period of time. So as an example, just to be real clear on this, let's say you're going to go into a meeting. Most people, you're going to be leading a meeting. Most meetings are winded. They don't have an agenda. They don't end with a deadline. So my advice is, and there's a module just on meeting management, one of the things that you want to do is you want to sit back and say to yourself, okay, what is the agenda? Lay it out and put it in writing. My belief system is very simple. He who makes the agenda wins because you have control of the conversation. So what happens is you identify that. Then when you begin the meeting, if you're leading it, you basically say, hello, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be here for 15 minutes. So you've expressed exactly the length of time. During these 15 minutes, we're going to discuss these 3 points. At the end of these 15 minutes, we're going to assign accountability. We're going to assign deadlines. We're going to confirm back. I'm going to memorialize it and get it back to you within 5 minutes after this meeting, and that's how we're going to move forward from here. So what I'm going to do each and every day is share with you a whole series of ongoing best practices that absolutely move the needle further and further down the road, quicker and quicker.
Oh, I love that. And I'm one of these guys, when I go to a meeting without an agenda, it just bugs me, and I can't take it, and I love that. And I'm going to use that line, he who has the agenda wins, because I'm with you. It's like you drive the train and you do all that kind of stuff. That's awesome. So who's the ideal person? Everyone listening, they're still with us, they're motivated, they're inspired, They're liking us. Who's the ideal person to go through and get involved with the 100-day challenge?
Okay. The ideal person really is anybody and everybody, and I'm not being facetious when I say that. Let's look at it this way. No two goals are the same. If someone wants to pay off $90,000 in debt, let's just say, which is a dramatic number, or somebody wants to lose 19 or 20 pounds, these are so diametrically opposed in different directions. And I acknowledge that and understand it. However, this is the thing that's most important, is that the process to the acquisition of both of those outcomes is identical. And that's what we're going to teach you is the process, is the systematic way of going about getting results. So, coming back and answer your question full circle, Greg, what you have to do is sit back and realize that everybody wants to get results. You know, if you got kids in school, you want to get them good grades. Somebody might want to lose weight. Somebody might want to grow sales. Everybody has an outcome that they want to achieve. They've got a gap between where they are now and where they want to be. So fundamentally, this program really shows anybody, anywhere, regardless of the goal, how to close the gap and make dramatic performance gains within 100 days.
Well, then, okay, so is there anyone it's not for? I mean, they're not ready, they're not motivated. It's marketing, right? It's like, you always are niching and trying to figure out who that is. But what's the opposite side of that? Is there one?
Yeah, there definitely is. I think unless I speak the truth and kind of sometimes unsettle some people, no one's going to be happy. Fundamentally, this is not a program for thumbsuckers, for whiners, or people who make excuses. You're going to be working real hard. You're going to be enforcing tremendous discipline. You're going to be making some sacrifices and making some hard choices over the course of the next 100 days. You will be very happy with the outcome. But the process that you're going to go through is going to be inconvenient, is going to be challenging. And let me focus just for a second, because I think this is really extremely important. I have a fundamental belief, and this is one of the modules in the 100-Day Challenge that everyone will learn, and it's titled, Success is Inconvenient. And my belief is this, is that highly successful people are focused on the result, where low achievers, or people who haven't had all that much success, are focused on the process. And what they want is they want the process to be fast, quick, convenient, immediate, with very little pain or discomfort. And when you concentrate and have a process mentality, what's happening is you will never be able to really enjoy the richness, the good stuff in life. Because let's just look at it this way. If you want to be in great physical shape, it's going to require you to get out of bed early in the morning. Because people will say all the time, you know what, I'm tired. Well, that's easy and convenient to offer that excuse. It is easy and convenient to go to a fast food restaurant. It's inconvenient to cook a well-balanced meal for your family. It's inconvenient, and time-consuming to teach your kids how to tie their shoes. But it's very easy and convenient, if you will, to go and buy them slip-ons. People have a tendency of leaning towards convenience and expediency. I want to bring you back to the center and get everybody to realize that the process of achieving anything is going to come through hard work. It's going to come through sacrifice. It's going to come through a change in behavior, of which there will probably be some natural resistance at the beginning. But we're going to get through that quickly. And as you do that, and as you see results quickly, especially by using that start fast mentality, moving into a new year, you'll be amazed as to how easy it is to adapt and just really embrace those new type of behaviors, simply because you're going to be making so much progress that it's unarguable that is the right way for you to go.
Oh, that's awesome. And like you with me with losing weight, it's like the first 4 or 5 pounds were the hardest. And then as you start to see some results and get that momentum, and it motivates you and kind of gets you going, really worked for me. And I'm sitting here, I got to make a comment that I wanted to make a few minutes ago. I forgot. If you can't, and it kind of goes back to this question, the question you just answered. If you can't allocate 15 minutes, 20 minutes a day to make significant changes in your lifestyle and your happiness and your future and the benefits of achieving your goals and your dreams, I don't want to be mean, but you just need to maybe dig a hole, jump in it, and have somebody bury you alive.
Yep.
Because
that's exactly right.
That's not a big time commitment to make changes, but it's got to be done consistently. And it's like I use the term when I teach marketing of franchising the sales system. You kind of alluded to it with the franchises of McDonald's and Wendy's. They can bring in, whether it's an 18-year-old kid or a 40-year-old person, they give them the system, they tell them what to do, they tell them what buttons to push, and that thing runs like a machine, a well-oiled machine. And that's what you put together. And it's not like you put together this yesterday. This is 5 million people, and you've been working on this for years. And then the other thing I want to mention is this is kind of out of the ordinary that you would work with a person like me to introduce it to individuals, because I know you've spent a very large part of your career working with very large corporations and working with their executive management and their teams of people. Can you share a little bit about what you've done there with the corporate world and how that's worked with this program?
Yeah. You'll find it I think the story how I got there is actually an interesting one. Before I talked about the law of exposure, but does the name Peter Lynch ring a bell to you at all?
Yep.
The financial advisor at Fidelity Funds.
Right.
When I first started to get serious about investing money and understanding it, I came across Lynch's philosophies, if you will, because I was looking for something that I could really embrace. And his was so simple, and I bought into it. And it usually would take me a while to kind of come around. It was simple. It was invest in companies whose products you buy. And, I buy IBM. I buy Home Depot. I buy, Mobil. I buy Mercedes. Why not invest in those companies and put my money truly where my money is? And that made a lot of sense to me. And I've stayed with that. Well, I realized that I had blue chip taste. I work with these companies. And as I started to build out my consulting practice, I sat back and went through the fundamental question I think every single business owner needs to do is, who is your ideal customer? Who are the people that you want to do business with? How are you going to penetrate them? All of those are different questions. And I sat back and I said, I not only want to be a shareholder, but I want to be in a situation where I could actually increase shareholder value. That, yes, I buy these products, but I would like to be associated with these companies and get involved with the inner workings. And listen, this didn't happen overnight, but as time had gone on, I found ways to get into certain companies. And I've been very fortunate to be able to grow that base. At this point in time, we do business with about 60% of the Fortune 500. And I see business models of all types. But bringing it full circle back to the 100-day challenge, one thing I can tell you is that no matter where you are, anywhere in this world, everybody loves a challenge. Everybody has a gap between where they are and where they want to be. Everybody wants to use Maslow's hierarchy of needs. They need food, water, and shelter. In this case, they need something to give their lives meaning, purpose, and direction. They want to leave a legacy of significance. And all of these are attributes that are built into this wonderful, glorious program, the 100-Day Challenge.
Man, that's I just took that note that you got 60% of the Fortune 500 companies, and you may not know me about this, Gary, but I grew up. I was an investment banker for the first 17 years of my adult life, and that's kind of where I started my career. And so the idea that I could take a company public and raise them capital and bring them into the marketplace, and then bring somebody like you on to help them, train their executives and their teams and their staff members on goal setting to increase our shareholder value. That's just an awesome strategy. That is beautiful. So can we have like that? Is there any insider trading rules that we would break if you said, hey, we're going to work with this company, and we went and bought stock in that, knowing that you were going to start working with them for their goal setting?
There's always something interesting that comes up.
That's beautiful. Okay, so now let's talk about this for a second, because I kind of alluded to the whole date of the new year, and but when should somebody start the program? Like, could we start tomorrow? Can they start the next day? How does your system work as far as getting somebody to start, quote unquote, the 100-Day Challenge?
Yeah, no, it's totally cool. I like words, phrases, acronyms, and stuff like this. So let's use the word TNT. When we think about TNT, we think it means what? Dynamite is our natural association, which is probably pretty darn good. Well, to me, it stands for today, not tomorrow. It's an execution strategy. So here's the best way to answer that question, Greg, is that when is the best time for you to lose weight, to get in shape? Is it after you have a heart attack? Is it after you fall down and split your pants in public and embarrass yourself? When should you pay off your debt? Should it be, when you file for bankruptcy and they're hauling your stuff out of your house? When should you work on repairing your marriage? Is it after your wife files for divorce? The answer to any of these questions in any situation in your life right now is today. Today is the best day for you to start paying off debt, to learn that language, to start playing that music, to write that book, to launch that internet site, to do whatever it is that you want to do. I mean, what is the benefit of procrastinating, putting it off, and postponing your life? And that's really what it comes down to. So fundamentally, the answer is very simple. Today is the best day that you'll ever have to take initiative, to make the decision to move forward and forward quickly.
Man, that's like the old slap in the face. I thought I was going to have a few days to think about it and pray about it and decide that I wanted to decide. But again, I hope everyone's still listening. You just get the wisdom of in one respect, it's so logical, but in another respect, it's like you need to hear it, right? You have to hear these things. And it goes back to, I've already said it since you told it to me, that law of exposure. It's like what you're exposed to helps you grow, helps you blossom, helps you provide fruit, that kind of stuff. This is really exciting. Go ahead.
I was going to say, there's a great quote by Buddha. He said, "To know and not to do is still not to know." And just think about that. And really what it means to me is there's a lot of people who, and I hear this all the time, well, I know everything I need to know about goal setting, about discipline, about deadlines, about execution, everything else. Okay, if that's the truth, let's look at your results. And the reason for it is there's 3 magic words everybody needs to embrace. Behavior never lies. Behavior never lies. Behavior is a physical representation of your belief systems. So we can look at your results and we know if you're practicing the piano. We know if you've been working on that language. We know if you've been making the sales calls. We know if you've been eating, more protein or more carbs by looking at your behavior, looking at your results. So what we have to do is realize is that, yes, you may know, and you've heard and you've read the books, but what results are you getting? Are you really applying these things? And that's where, again, where I sat back and I said, if I'm going to create a program that to me is a legacy play. I mean, I'm at a point now in my life where the houses are paid off, the kids are in school, we're in good shape, and I want to make the greatest contribution that I can. And I realize that I have to focus in on the biggest problem that people have in order to provide them with the biggest solution. And the problem, again, just as we talked about, was accountability and execution. So what I'm constantly doing is driving forth as many different creative ways to show people how to hold their own feet to the fire. And we bring in accountability buddies. We've got a forum in place. We've got the integrity pledge. We've got, as you're well aware, the accountability coach and the accountability clock. And there's a number of other things that are designed to provide rock-solid solutions to the biggest challenge and temptation that people have, which is to kind of lose a little momentum or lose some interest in what it is that they really say they want to do.
Man, that's, you go back to that accountability. It's such a key component to what we're talking about. And again, you providing that platform with technology. And, here I am, a CEO of a software company and very familiar with the technology, and I just love the fact that we can use this thing, the internet and the computers and the phones and the iPads, to deliver tools and systems in a sequence. And again, I'm big on sequence. To me, everything from when I teach people about their starting their business plans and their marketing, sequence is huge, and using technology to do that. And I was really, really impressed when I got into your membership area and I saw what you put together from the accountability buddy and all the things you have going on there, the calendar and all the different tools. Very, very exciting. We only got a few more minutes left because I know how much time you allocated for me, so we're going to try to wrap up here with a few last questions. Is there anything that you want to share about what people can expect about what they actually get delivered via the internet and exactly how it works? Maybe describe that just a little bit so they have a little bit more insight of how that looks.
Yeah, I'll be happy to. Essentially, what you're going to have a password protected site. And, you're going to use your username and password in order to go in. And essentially, you're going to be greeted with a fabulous video. That video is really going to be your lesson for the day. You just need to sit back, hit the button, play, take some notes. At the end of it, you're going to have an opportunity to kind of summarize a few things, send an email to yourself, where you identify and lay out your specific daily plan and so forth. There's a number of other tools in there, but for the most part, the primary lesson is going to be delivered to you in a absolutely first-class, wonderful quality video that is going to be so impactful from this standpoint. I've combined voice, video, visual pictures, narratives, a whole bunch of storylines that create not just a compelling argument, but that's emotionally engaging, that essentially and is consistent throughout the entire program. So you're going to be very impressed in terms of the way that it's delivered and what is delivered on a day-to-day basis.
No, it's awesome, man.
And by the way, you know what? The fact that you brought that question up, I don't think I've ever shared this with anybody. I'll tell you what my biggest fear was when I built this program. You remember years ago when you would buy an album and there would be 12 songs on the album and only 2 of the songs would be good?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my concern was I have to create 100 days of exceptional content. There can't be a stinker in the bunch. I mean, this has got to be good from beginning to end. And if I'm going to be talking about excellence and best practices and truly about raising the bar of your own performance, I needed to be a textbook example of that. So what I'm telling everybody right now, there will never be a day in this program where you will be disappointed for the next 100 days with the quality, with the integrity, and the delivery method of the results, or should we say of the material that's going to come through. You will be very pleased and very happy, and I think in some cases you'll probably even be overwhelmed by the amount of stuff that's going to come your way.
Yeah, that's a fact. And again, I'm all these guys about credibility and accountability as to the quality of content and guarantees and that kind of stuff. And it just says a lot, the fact that you're working with Fortune 500 companies and those executive teams and those staff members and to help them, because that you can't build a business with any longevity and create and deliver a crummy product. So it's absolutely super exciting. And so I guess we're kind of at that point to where, everything costs money in life, right? And if you want to play, you got to pay. And if you want the best content, it costs you money. And I'm sitting here going, I've bought hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of personal development programs, even when I was 21 years old, the Zig Ziglars and the Brian Tracy's and the Dennis Waitley's and the Tony Robbins. And I've had a lot of teaching, that kind of stuff. But I got to tell you, I've never seen anyone create a system, a 100-day system around goal setting. So let's say somebody wants to sign up. They're ready to do it today. There's going to be underneath this video, there'll be a link for them to sign up and join. what is the cost, and how does that cost work?
Yeah, no, it's very simple. It's your total investment is $147. I'll make it very simple. I sit here and go and slice it and dice it and tell you about this and that and everything else, but technology is fantastic, and it allows us to be able to scale, if you will, the content, the material over a broad spectrum. To be very clear, there are right now over 71,000 people participating in this program from 86 different countries. That's pretty sensational. And simply because of the mass buying power of everybody involved, we're able to deliver to you a program that, quite frankly, I charge my corporate clients $10,000 a day to show up to do and facilitate a strategic plan or actually do a training workshop. You're going to get the same content for $1.47 a day. You can't beat that one with a stick. So tremendous value at a fantastic cost. You're going to be very delighted. I promise you that.
Well, it's one of those programs to where you consume the information and we do what you ask us to do, the 15 to 20 minutes a day, and we're going to have results. So what's that worth? What's it worth to lose that weight? What's it worth to get that program going, that book written, that new website, that new income, that new job, whatever that is? It's worth $1.47 a day. I mean, that's it's almost beyond ridiculous. But again, like you said, technology allows you to deliver it in such a way that you got your servers and you got your videos and all that kind of stuff. It's just incredible. So now I'm going to do a few things. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, but I know one thing I'm going to do is most of the people watching this video know that my main company is designed to protect and educate children on the internet. And I want to see you succeed so much that if you're watching this and you're not already a client and you have kids, I'm going to give you guys and offer you guys a free Club Tukey membership. And so when you send me your receipt that you signed up for Gary's program and you're taking this serious and you want to make change in your life, I'm going to give you a free annual membership to Club Tukey, which is the ultimate kids internet. That's $97 what we charge for that for your kid. And I'm going to try to come up with a couple other bonus gifts or ebooks of some of the content that I've created because I want to motivate and inspire every single person listening to do what they need to do. Okay, here's one of the things I did, Gary. I was thinking we'd get done before that went off. Every hour on the hour, I have to do 25 push-ups, 25 sit-ups. I have to do some squats. I got to do something.
Wow.
So I'm going to postpone that another 4 or 5 minutes so we can finish up what we're doing here. But that was one of the things that I thought of. So I'm sitting behind a desk for 25 years. No reason. No wonder I got this belly. No wonder. So I'm like, I just got to get up out of this chair and jump around, jump and jack to do something. So I've been doing that fairly consistently. I mean, there's a couple of days and times and meetings I can't really do it, but I have been doing it. I'm very happy, and it's working. I started off, I couldn't do 5 push-ups. I just whipped out 30 before we got on this call. So it's awesome.
Nice.
So there you go, a $147 one-time fee to sign up. You can start today. The minute you sign up, his system is designed to put you in the system, and you're going to immediately get that number one email. You're going to log into this, and you call it like a private password protected website. I'm going to call it a club, and I'm going to call it a club of like-minded people that all want to make a difference in their life, and they also support you because you have a forum in there, and you have mastermind things. You have tools to facilitate us communicating with other people that are going through maybe the same struggles, and maybe it's somebody that's pregnant, maybe it's an elderly person, maybe it's a younger person, maybe it's a golfer that wants to be a golf pro. It doesn't really matter. But now we can find other people, and we can look for support within other people with your 71,000 people that are currently going through the course. So to me, it's like this exclusive club you get for $147. You start your 100-day challenge, and let's say they do the 100-day challenge, and then they want to do it again a year from now or 6 months from now. What happens with that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. They could go right on through and become what's called an alumni. So there's a wonderful opportunity to continue in the program.
Awesome. And I know your goal is to continue to work with people from different levels and help us succeed in our dreams and our goals. And if you got any last little comments, I have a way to end all my videos, but I'll let you give your last little comment if you have anything, Gary, and then I'll wrap it up with my last little comments about what we're talking about.
I do. To bring it full circle, you asked me about the book, Everything Counts. And built into the 100-day challenge really is the entire philosophy of Everything Counts. I think it's a great way to share this and wrap this up. The thinking behind it is very simple, is that everything that you think, and we all have what I call 3 tools that allow us to produce results and create a unique competitive advantage or difference in the marketplace. It's what we think, it's what we say, and it's what we do. Those are what you would call the tools at our disposal in order to produce results. And if you really look at the DNA of every human being, 99.8% of us are identical. The differential, the small differential, really just comes down to how we use those 3 tools. So the thinking behind everything counts is everything you think, everything you say, and everything that you do. The head, the heart, the hand either takes you towards your goals or it takes you away from them. That everything, no matter how small, and let's be honest, most of the choices that we make in life are very small. They're cumulative, if you will. They either take us to success or they lead us away from it. So what you're going to learn in the 100-Day Challenge, most importantly, and why everything counts is this, is that the only direction worth moving is north, in the direction of your hopes, the direction of your dreams, the direction of your goals, and your true destiny. And that's really what this program is designed to do, is to march you further and faster towards north, and that you'll achieve success in a wonderful and glorious and a faster manner than you ever anticipated. So with that, I'll leave you with that.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. So you're listening to this. You've stayed through the whole, we're almost at the hour mark. Are you moving forward or are you going backwards? There is no, I'm staying stationary. You're either growing or you're dying. You're moving forward or you're not. So please take advice underneath this video. Click on that, join now, get started now, and do it today. So we've been talking with Gary Ryan Blair, a big supporter of my efforts to protect and educate children all over the world. The #1 best-selling author of 52 Remarkable Ways to Inspire Excellence and Drive Results, and the creator of the wildly successful 100-Day Goal Program. We want you to get signed up. I want to see you in the members area. Let's do it together. 100-Day Challenge. Start today. Do not procrastinate. And do what I do. Wake up every day with an attitude of gratitude and tell somebody you love them. Thanks, Gary. We're signing off.
Thank you, my friend.